The story arc of classic Mega Man is a bit weak when it comes to story depth and continuity. Each narrative is driven by the same idea. Wily wants to dominate the world and Mega Man goes on to stop him. There is little to no point to each game's advancement, as none shows you any particularly impactful moments that subvert your expectations. However, I'm certain that we have a one-of-a-kind Prologue that not only tells an engaging story, but also presents an unexpected twist. Today we will talk about how Mega Man 7 is the greatest classic game in terms of plot. We have 4 main factors that make this plot good. Let's examine each one, starting with the intro summarizes the ending of Mega Man 6. Finally, Mega Man was able to catch Dr. Wily and throw him in jail, even though he could have done it in the previous 5 games. Following that, we observe Wily's lab springing up to life. We are told that he had predicted getting arrested one day, therefore he prepared 4 robots. With 6 months of no input from Wily, they activate and begin searching for their creator. In the last scene, we are shown an enormous robot destroying the city as part of their mission. In the end, they succeed in liberating Dr. Wily, forcing Mega Man to fight him again. One of the best things about this prologue is that it builds its plot off of the previous game to expand its narrative in an otherwise episodic series. Mega Man 2 aside, no game was directly connected to past events until Mega Man 7 came out. But this time, with improved presentation and an interesting story twist. The atmosphere is also eerily dark. They did a fantastic job on this opening. I remember when I was like 9, I was done with the 6 NES titles, so I explored YouTube for Mega Man 7. I watched the beginning, and when that enormous robot glanced at my screen and fired, I literally lost my shit. It was extremely thrilling and terrifying. Seeing Wily flee and leave a destroyed city behind, only 6 months after Mega Man thought his struggle is over, he must have felt his world falling apart. But when all seemed lost, he found hope in his new ally. Mega Man 7 introduces a key character that will be a staple in every installment moving forward. Almost. After dealing with Mad Grinder in the opening stage, Bass suddenly attacks Mega Man. If the Blue Bomber wins, Bass tells him that he has been attempting to stop Wily while the hero is gone. Then he leaves Mega Man, believing he doesn't need his aid now. If he loses against Bass, the unfamiliar opponent claims the same thing, but taunts the blue hero after, adding that maybe he should sit this one out. In all cases, Mega Man asks himself, "Who's this guy?" and leaves. One would question, is Bass really trying to help? If he's trying to test my capabilities as a fighter, then he's probably on my side, right? After defeating the first 4 Robot Masters, Mega Man talks to Dr. Light asking about Bass. Dr. Light explains, his behaviors do not seem to indicate a threat. I don't believe he's our opponent. And this reassuring Mega Man to trust him. He encounters Bass again in the Shade Man stage, appearing injured. The damaged ally believes he should have left the task to the Blue Bomber. Mega Man's NPC shines, offering aid for Bass and sends him to Light for repairs. Bass thanks his ally, believing he's a genuine friend, and teleports away. After beating the remaining Robot Masters, Mega Man discovers Light's lab has been wrecked with Dr. Light on the floor. He says that Bass has gone mad and took the upgrades he made for his son and Rush. Mega Man cannot believe what took place. Then Wily appears on the monitor, revealing that Bass and Triple are his creations, mocking the naive hero for being an idiot. The Blue Bomber at that point was mad at Bass for how he betrayed his trust, how he took his belongings, what he did to his house on Dr. Light, and the fact he is created by Dr. Wily, the same madman he has been desperately trying to stop. Mega Man exclaims that Wily will pay for this, then he advances towards the Doctor's castles, where he confronts Base twice. Mega Man successfully beats him even when his rival used the stalling enhancements. It is safe to say that the Blue Bomber wasn't holding back in these fights against Base. Mega Man was blamed for a fool, and he would not forgive that. But then Mega Man 8 happens.
Hey, Zach! Why must I fight you? We are not enemies!
Shut up!
The robot masters of Mega Man 7 are outlaws. It's further represented in their boss fights as they rely on foul strategies. Freezeman attempts to freeze you and drop icicles on you, taunting you if you stand still. Burstman's sole concept is to snare you for an insta-diss and fill the arena with traps. Slashman is the definition of unfair fight because of the tomato droppings that hinder your mobility and prevent shooting. Turboman has an afterburn effect, which is dreadful. He takes advantage of his car form for invincibility and aggressive play too. The other remaining 4 are in similar vein. With fighting methods like this, it supports the idea of them being criminals or thugs. Also, this could be just me, but their boss themes strengthens that vibe effectively. It gives off the impression of an intense street fight fitting the urban setting of Mega Man 7. This reinforces the idea that Mega Man is facing tricky, cheap, and nasty opponents from his perspective, making the situation a lot more serious. It makes sense, they are directly involved in threatening the lives of citizens. This part is more speculative about Mega Man's feelings based on what we know at that point in time. Defeating the initial set of the main bosses unlocks a brief segment, the Robot Museum, where some familiar robot masters are on display is under attack by Wily. The Blue Bomber rushes to the scene, witnessing the Doctor capture Gutsman. This upsets him as Gutsman is one of Mega Man's siblings, whom he had to battle before when Wily put his nasty hand on him. Mega Man clears the museum and returns to continue the story. Moving forward to Wily Stage 1, the boss of that stage is Gutsman's modified form, Gutsman Great or Gutsman G for short. Wily perceives this as an improvement to the old model's power and fighting technique, but from Mega Man's perspective, that's more than crossing the line. To him, that's not Gutsman, that's a monster utilized for evil deeds. He lost his sibling again because of Wily, so Mega Man pieces Gutsman G and calls for vengeance. After defeating Dr. Wily in his castle, the usual happens. He begs for forgiveness. What's not common, however, is Mega Man's reaction. After all he has been through in this chapter, from the built-up anger and sorrow, Mega Man threatens to kill Wily out of desperation to end this cycle of violence. Terrified, Wily reminds him that robots cannot hurt people, as it conflicts with his programming. Mega Man then exclaims, "I am more than a robot, die Wily," which is probably the hardest thing Mega Man has ever said, but ultimately is prevented from doing so. Since Mega Man simulates human emotions, this raises an interesting question about the ethics of sentient machines. When we as humans get blinded by anger, we are capable of doing unforgivable things. If it wasn't for the laws of robotics, robots, weaponized or not, would be capable of doing even worse things than an average person. It's different in the Japanese version, however. In there, the same conversation happens, but Mega Man contemplates Wily's words in silence instead. Following that, in all versions, the castle begins self-destruction. Bass comes in to free Wily from falling grapple and teases Mega Man one final time, stating, "He who hesitates is lost." I like the Japanese version as it highlights more of Mega Man's personality and inserts Wily and Bass's words in the right place. But the American version is still amazing. I truly appreciate how dramatic it is. In the end, Mega Man escapes, walking away from the burning castle visibly angry. I assume that here, Mega Man is trying to think over all that occur to him from adversity. It's like, if you have a terrible day, you can go for a walk to better yourself. It is the same concept here. And that's why I think Mega Man 7 has the best plot. Mega Man's personal development is intriguing, and they went all out with Wily in here. And instead of leaving him for a later reveal with minimal substance, he is an active threat in the story from the start, putting a lot more emphasis on his evil, twisted nature, and I enjoy that. What's more remarkable is Mega Man 7 was developed in just 3 months, it's insane. Anyways, I appreciate you everyone for attending here. If you agree with my opinions, I love you. If not, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments and I will see you all in the next video.